Good morning. I'm so glad to have you here. We've had computer problems. We've had people sleeping late. We've had everything going on this
We were
morning. And
sleeping
so,
late.
for those of you who made it through, I'm so glad to have you here. Yippee! Yeah. And I'm going to start out with Joan because she just arrived. And so
Aha.
before she can even rest, I'm going to say, would you give us a prayer this morning?
I will give you a prayer this morning, but I'm going to ask everybody to sit quietly and take a deep breath and just be calm. Surround yourself with light and love and know that universal spirit is right here, right now with us, leading us, guiding us through this beautiful day. We send blessings especially to Portland. The city of Portland is having difficulty, so we're sending blessings there. We're sending blessings to Ukraine. It's having difficulties there. And we're sending blessings throughout our country and certainly to Washington, D.C. And we're sending blessings to each other, knowing that we are in love with ourselves, with our community, and we're in love with life today, and we're ready to hear this beautiful message from Dottie, and so it is.
Thank you so very
Thank you.
much.
Yes, indeed.
That was wonderful.
Thank
You
you.
brought in
Yay.
everybody, and so it's great having you at the house. And any of you that get up early on a Sunday morning and you want to join us here at the house, we'd love to have you. We have room for about 13 people, so
And we have food.
and we have food, so it's a great thing to join us. Yeah, it's one of those things that we enjoy having you here. And uh, the other thing about coming here is you get hugs. Don't you miss hugs on a Sunday morning? And you come here to Dottie's house and you can grab hugs. But looking in there right now, we've got people from Oregon, we've got people from Northern California, we've got folks from all over. So I'm glad we've got you here on the computer. Now the computer's been giving us a little bit of problems. So if Corky slams down something, yells and screams, or gets upset, it's not with any of you.
Well, we'll just hope I don't swear.
Yeah, it's
loud.
with the computer.
We could change that.
So we're glad to have you here. And
I should have blessed the computers.
yes.
Yeah. We still have time. Blessed are the computers.
Blessed are the computers.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Yes. So we've got blessings going out to everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. And who's got a birthday this week?
Oh dear, birthdays, yeah.
Any birthdays? I swear, everybody in CCL is getting younger. They have to be because they're not getting
It's a
any older.
miracle.
And
Now
so
that's what we should advertise. You want to be younger?
come to CCL.
We're going to live forever.
Yes.
We're gonna live forever.
And
Forever.
Joan is hit 90, so that's great.
Woo-hoo!
And I have 12 years to go.
You have 12 years to go.
Yeah.
Oh, great, good.
12 years
So-
to go.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, but I've set 12 years to go.
Uh-huh.
And so the first thing I'm doing is next October 2026, we're going to Rome and Athens on a cruise.
Oh, great.
And I'm not going to stop traveling because I'm 90.
Right. Good for you. Good for you.
Now, wait a minute, you're not going to
wonderful.
stop traveling because you're 90, or you're not going to stop traveling just because you're 90?
Just because I'm 90.
That's right. Yay.
Yay.
Keep up the good work.
And Annie, how are you feeling? Annie?
I'm feeling pretty well, thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
No, that's
just
okay.
don't want to do any complaining, so there's no complaints. I'm very grateful that I do not live close to Portland, and I'm doing a lot of praying for everybody there.
What's
And
happening in Portland? What's happening
They're
in Portland?
gathering at Trump.
he sent through the troops. We've
Oh,
got the troops attacking Portland right now
okay,
because of violence that happens in that city, which
okay.
is not happening. But anyway,
Well, now it is.
Now it is.
yeah.
Well, thank you
But
so much.
I'm feeling well. I'm starting my immunotherapy treatments this week, and so I'm considered back in remission again. So praying for a long, 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 long remission.
Yay,
Yay!
yay.
Let's do that.
At
Anybody
least
else?
25 years.
Anybody else the board that needs prayers this morning?
Oh, yes, Stephen Brandon died a couple of days ago.
Yes.
So please send prayers to Siska and her family.
Yes.
And he had cancer,
And,
a lot of it everywhere. So it might be a blessing. But anyway, Siska's alone and by herself. So
yeah.
let's send lots of love for her.
Yeah.
And of course, safe journey for Stephen.
Yes.
Hey, Stephen, didn't you and Steve have a little controversy as to how to spell Stephen? I can remember you guys.
For sure, but you know what? He did whatever Siska told him to, so there you have it.
Well, I would too, because I wouldn't want her on my back.
Yeah. He might be the big boy, but she's Siska.
Yeah, lovely, and she's still lovely as always.
Yes.
Oh, good. I was just thinking about them like the day before yesterday, and I'm going, I wonder how they're doing. Because I haven't seen them for 30 years, I don't think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good morning, Mel. You have your hand up. You want to say something?
Oops,
Mel?
Mel.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm at the pool.
I was say, are you nude?
You
Prove
was.
it. If you are, prove it.
Don't worry, we'll edit that part out.
I I wanted to ask for prayers for my neighbor Donna, who is she's got multiple myeloma cancer, and it's in her bone. It's disintegrated part of her pelvis.
Oh my gosh.
And she's undergoing treatment. They're going to do reconstructive surgery and stuff, which is awesome. And she's very positive, but she could use all the help she can get.
Okay.
And Patty Ray, an update on her. Her skin cancer is pretty bad and pretty aggressive, and it is a terminal condition.
What does she have?
Skin cancer.
It's a form of skin cancer. I'm not sure exactly which one, but it's causing some really bad effects. And she went into hospice last week. So she's
Oh my gosh.
at the assisted living, but she's now on hospice.
Can I still reach her at the same number?
Yeah, if she keeps turning her volume off on her ringer and doesn't know how she did it, and she's having trouble with her phone being able to charge it. But uh, I actually haven't been able to reach her in 3 or 4 days. But
Okay.
please try. She would love to talk to anybody and everybody.
Okay. Great. Will do. And Donna, you've seen her recently?
Yes, I saw her when Mel was up, and then I also spoke to her 2 days ago. 3 days ago, she was all excited because all the equipment came from hospice. She got a new bed, she got a new shower chair. You know, it was like Christmas, and her spirits were so high, and she really felt, she'd made a good decision. And then the next day, which was the day before yesterday when I called her, she was kind of down in the dumps again. So
Okay, so I'll give her a call.
she really fluctuates.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mel. I was going to say the same thing, but Mel beat me to it. So thank you, Mel, for bringing them up to date on our dear friend.
Yes.
Welcome.
Blessings all.
If anybody can go visit her, she would love that. She loves visitors, especially visitors that have pets and bring pets with them. Um, she's in Pacific Gardens in Santa Clara, and it's room 103.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, anybody else have anything? We have guests here today Patty and Joyce are visiting.
Hi, Patty and Joyce.
And this is it's so
Yay.
nice to have
Well,
them here.
hey.
We kept them up late last night, showing them an excellent movie. And what was it called?
Come from away.
Come From Away. If you want to watch a great movie, it's about what happened in Newfoundland in a town named Gordon, where all of the planes that were heading into the United States had to stop when the towers fell. So it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's fun. It's musical, and it's just delightful. So if you get a chance, see if you can't take it. And it seems like so many movies on the TV lately have been kind of down, but this is up and it's positive, and you feel like you're so glad to meet these people. Okay, well, starting now with meeting people, I'm going to be talking about past lives, because I have a really good spirit guide who comes and sees me, but I've also been, I'm going to tell you some stories about some of my past lives, and they're interesting, because when I was growing up, I had a lot of people that I talked to, and I would go into my closet in my room, my bedroom, and I talked to people that I had been in past lives. And so it got my mother a little bit concerned about me, but she put up with it. So I'll be sharing some of those. Being able to see who you have been and what you have done in past lives may give you a new perspective into what motivates people and the understanding to forgive them of their shortcomings or bad behavior. When you find out some of the past lives I've had, you'll say, oh, I forgive her. But there's so many different things that can happen to you in a lifetime. And it's your same soul that goes from lifetime to lifetime. I'm going to be discussing the spirituality of reviewing, reclamation, and past lives. When you experience a past life, the in-between lives, while you're in your current life, it proves that life is continuous. That's a good feeling. You might feel this life's not working, but heck, next life's going to be a lot better. You can be looking forward to a next life. I'll give you some ways to look backwards into past lives. All spiritual schools accept the concept of reincarnation. Loosely, the purpose of reincarnation is to get purified and gain wisdom, so that it comes out of the cycle of birth and death. A soul continues to return until they resolve all of their physical, emotional, spiritual, etc., earthly attachments. Feeling the dense air or seeing a shape or form move across the room. I don't know how many of you have done this, for out of the corner of your eye you see something go by, and you don't know what it is, and you don't know if you should look into it or ignore it. Well, start looking at what it is. See the forms more easily. It may manifest as a form, or you might simply feel a dense flow of air through the room, or even a shadow. Although shadows are very quick, and they dash, but you can see them in a flash. You can even ask a loved one to manifest themselves. They can always hear us call for them. So if you have a manifested person who has passed away, find a way to contact them. Through dreams. Dreams work very well. Through a meditation, because they are in spirit, but they can hear you. So use that as a way to get in touch with them. This can simply be a flicker of light at the corner of your eye, a light flickering in your home, or a spark of light in your line of sight. I remember after my grandmother, Eva, passed, my mother kept asking me to check the lamp in the living room, where my grandmother sat. I changed the bulb twice, and there wasn't anything wrong, but it kept flickering. And I knew that was my grandmother reaching out to Mom, even though my mother found it hard to believe, until much later in her life. I was just 10 years old when this was going on, and I said, it's Grandma. And she said, no, I don't think so. But as she got older, she believed more in people getting in touch with her. Temperature changes, a chill in a warm room. Have you ever had that happen? Where you're in a warm room, you're reading, or you're just sitting thinking, and all of a sudden you feel a breeze. When there's no window open or an area of room that feels colder when you walk through it. Past souls are energy. And when they come to our energy field, we sense the temperature change due to the fact that we are warm-blooded. So think of that. Reaching the other side takes both practice and patience. Most important is clearing your mind and letting the past souls know it is okay for them to appear. How many of you have talked to people who've passed on? Try it. Joyce, you do this.
Yes.
Yes. And and Joan does it. Anybody else in the room do that? Talk to people who passed on?
Yep.
And sometimes you hear back.
Yes.
And you hear from them. And it's exciting. There's no reason to be afraid. Your guides will be with you and nothing can harm you. So you can't hurt to try it out. He said, when you go home today, sit down, get yourself quiet, and ask for somebody to come visit you. And don't be discouraged if visualization is just difficult at first. Just like any skill, clairvoyance takes practice and patience. Keep trying. Why past lives matter? Every lifetime contains experience, wisdom, and emotional imprints that carry forward. Just like a student doesn't start over in each grade, our souls don't start over at birth. We've learned something in a past life. Sometimes we don't want to remember it. Sometimes we don't want to connect with it. But learning about our past lives can reveal patterns, why we are drawn to certain cultures, careers, hobbies, or people. Seeing who you've been brings compassion. When we glimpse our own past mistakes or triumphs, we recognize the shared human journey of learning. Learn from your past life. Learn what you need to learn this lifetime. This realization softens the judgment towards ourselves and others. When you have a past life where you were a gangster and you broke into people's homes and robbed them, you can look at that and be a little more sympathetic when you read about that happening in the news. Say this isn't their time to do this, they're going to learn a lesson and they're going to come back better. Knowing that people may be acting out patterns they've carried for lifetimes can help us offer grace instead of condemnation. Think of that. If you look at somebody, you don't like what they're doing this lifetime, say, maybe they're a lot better than they were last lifetime. I'm not going to condemn them, I'm going to give them grace. Forgiveness becomes easier because we see the bigger picture beyond a single lifetime. Past lives are not about curiosity alone. They're about healing, forgiveness, and self-understanding. How to remember past lives? Meditation and relaxation. If you can't meditate, find out how to relax. Find a way to sit quietly or lay in bed, but get yourself quiet. Tell everybody to leave you alone. You're going to meditate. You don't need people interrupting the meditation. And quieting the mind is the first step. Deep meditation, guided imagery, or breathing practices allow memories stored in the subconscious to surface. How many of you have ever come up with a subconscious idea? Anybody here?
Well, I guess if it comes from your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Or
about stuff all the time. So.
I know as a little kid, I was always thinking, I'm going to tomorrow do this. And it happened or it didn't happen. But I was sure it was going to happen. And that's the way I've lived my life. When something bad happens to me, I know I can change it. I'm thinking about it and praying on it. And that's what happens when you meditate. But you have to relax and practice it. Ask your higher self to gently open one door that holds a wisdom for today. Ask it, and you'll find that you are asking a lot of your body and your mind, and you can do it. Dream awareness. Past life fragments often appear in dreams, especially recurring ones, while you are in another place, era, or culture. Keep a dream journal beside your bed. Write down places, clothing styles, languages, or emotional tones that seem unusual, yet strangely familiar. Yes, they're strangely familiar because it's a lifetime you've had before. And some people still dress the same way that they remember in another lifetime. Other people talk the same way they did in a previous lifetime. So start looking at what is familiar in your strategy in life. Self-guided. Regression therapy uses gentle hypnosis or visualization to recall specific events, relationships, or dreams from past incarnations. You can go to a skilled facilitator. They'll help you move through memories safely, without judgment, focusing on insights rather than drama. And you can do it and stay in this lifetime, or you can go into another lifetime. When you go see a therapist. I've seen a therapist a couple of times about some of my past lives. And they luckily were people that believed in past lives, and they could help me get out of that stuck place I was. Soul memory triggers in daily life. Sense, music, philosophies, and even historical eras can spark recognition. You'll think about a past life and you'll remember it in detail. The next day, think about it again and you'll get more detail. And music is a wonderful way to get in touch with past lives. I'm going to be telling you one that I had that happened to a guy in Chicago who was a saxophone player. And what happened there is I love the saxophone. It's one of my favorite instruments. And I've always, if I hear a saxophone on the radio, if I see a movie or there's a sax player, I just stop. It just grabs me. And it wasn't until I got in touch with T-Bone that I realized that's what happened. He was really important in one of my past lives. Ask yourself, why does this move me so deeply? Often it is your soul remembering. And when your soul remembers, you're going to carry it with you. You might be looking at somebody who's wearing a different kind of outfit and feel it. And say, I want to have an outfit like that. Because it's striking you in soul memory. And that's so exciting when you do it. And when you let it go. Like my hats. Isn't this a great hat? And my sister brought it to me from her cruise she was on. But it's bright and it's cheerful and I love hats. So I put it on. And it brings up a past life. Every time I put on a hat, it brings up a past life. So think about what you do every day that brings up a past life for you. It could be putting on a necklace. It could be combing your hair a certain way. There's so many things you do that bring up a past life. And find out why it moves you so deeply. And you can heal old wounds. Revisiting the past gives context to present challenges. Think of that. For instance, if betrayal is a theme, recognize its root, helps break the cycle, and prevents repeating the same patterns. If you feel like I don't like men because they blah, 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 or I don't like certain women because they blah, 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 you're just repeating something that you went through in a past life. Get in touch with that past life so you can release that anger or that deep feeling of dislike that you carry towards somebody. Love everybody. It's amazing how well it works. And so the first past life I'm going to talk about, you'll see why I needed to do this. Healing old wounds, revisiting the past gives context to present challenges. So remember, the root helps break the cycle.
You go for it, Dottie.
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo,
Knowing
woo.
your soul's history explains your current gifts, struggles, and choices. So that's why we're going to get in touch with past life today. What feels like a natural talent may be mastery carried from other lives. What feels like an irrational fear may be an old memory waiting to be healed. Each one of us has been on this planet before. The reason I know this is because you're here at church. If you hadn't had some good reaction to some kind of church, you wouldn't be here. But you might have a bad reaction to another church, and that's why you're here today. But it's something that you've lived through before. So feel it. Feel the mastery from other lives. What feels like an irrational fear may be an old memory waiting to be healed. So you don't sit in the fear. Figure out how to heal it by getting in touch with a past life where you dealt with that. Experiencing past and between life states confirms that the soul never dies. It only changes form. In my most recent past life was a tiny little black girl. And I'll tell you later.
Oh,
Reference to life
Let's
today.
get your cliffhanger.
Past life awareness explains instant bonds and deep conflicts. Recognizing soul connections helps you approach relationships with patience and depth. Every relationship you're in, find the patience to be in it. And find the depth. Don't meet somebody and say, I don't like you. What happens if you meet somebody and you don't like them immediately, it's because they hurt you in a past life. Or maybe this life. But figure out what it is that they bring in a memory of a past life so you can clear it. Each insight you gain becomes practical wisdom, helping you choose forgiveness over resentment, growth over stagnation, and love over fear. How do you do that? It's because you get in touch with your past life and how you have turned yourself off this lifetime to that person. And as you can get in touch with your past lives, you can then start changing who you are and move forward, not dragging your feet, but going forward brilliantly with I am letting go of my negativity. I'm going to look at positive. In short, remembering past lives isn't about living in the past. It's about freeing the present and shaping a wiser, more compassionate future. Now I'm going to share with you some of my past lives. My first past life that I remembered when I was a very, very little girl was I was a warrior. And I was a warrior in the 1st century AD. And I was a soldier, but I also fought lions in the Colosseum. I was a nasty son of a bitch. Boy, I was nasty. I had three wives, 2 boyfriends, and I think I got it on with the lions too. I mean, I was something. And I killed people if I didn't like them.
Okay.
And when I look at it, my name was Calipa. And when I look at Calipa, I always get a little bit of chivalry. So glad that I didn't carry that lifetime into this one. But what happened is I was fighting the lions. And so and to get into the middle of the Colosseum, I had to walk through this dark room where the lions were kept. And there was one lion that I didn't like, and every time I walked in, I'd hit it with my knife. So I was nicking its paw, and it was getting mad. And I was saying, I'll wait until you get out there and I'll get you. So I got out into the sunshine, and they opened the gate, and this lion came out, and it just looked at me and kept looking at me and jumped on me and grabbed my throat and killed me. So I can remember I was dying. I was laying in a big hospital-like place. And all my friends, 2 of them, came to say goodbye. And one of my wives came to say goodbye. But they were talking, and I could hear them. They're saying, it's good to get rid of him. He was never going to do any good. Calapaw, he was a no-gooder. And
So
everybody talked to him.
So you had more wives than you had friends?
Oh, yes.
Amazing.
And some of them were wives because I bought them. I mean, various things. And so they talked about me, but none of them were saying anything positive. One wanted to have some of my clothes. That's why he was there. Another one, they all wanted something from me after I was dead. And I was laying there thinking, you son of a bitches, you're going to be sorry when I'm gone. I took that with me into death, that they were going to miss me. And so that is one of the worst past lives I've had.
Thank goodness.
But it's one that I keep with me. When I get upset with somebody and think, well, I wish they were dead, or I immediately say, no. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to have Calapaw in my life. I have left him, and I'm moving on. The next lifetime that I remember, now my name was Shanti, and I was 14 years old, and I had a boyfriend named Tom. We called him T-Bone, and he played the saxophone, and he was 16. And my dad beat me. My dad was a big drunk, a big belly drunk, and he beat me. And I told Tom, I want to get away from here. And he said, well, get away as soon as I can get the money. So I was 15 years old, and he came by the house and said, let's go, Shanti. I found out then, when I left that house in Arkansas, that my name was Shanti because I was calling me a Shanti Irish. And I didn't know that until we moved to Chicago. And somebody said, Shanti, that's a bad word for Irish. And I didn't know that. And so I got to there, by the time we got settled in a little place in a black neighborhood, and we were both white from the South, but it was the only place we could afford. And Tom had got a job working at a restaurant. It was a restaurant that was also a club that played music, and he was hoping that one night somebody might ask him to come play the saxophone. It was a one-room place, and I had a little baby girl. And we were very happy, very, very poor. And the next door neighbor, Rosa, took me on. She's the one that came to the hospital, picked us up after I had the baby. And she was the most loving person in my life. She and Tom were the only people I felt had ever loved me. And we're living in a black 4-story old house. And it was in 1892 to 1906, around that era. And it was, people were treating them badly, and I was always defending my neighbors because they're the only people that ever treated me nicely. So I carried that with me. And so one day, the phone on the hall rang, and Rosa answered and said, Shanti, it's T-Bone on the phone. He wants to talk to you. I got on the phone, he said, honey, I've got a gig tonight. the saxophone player got sick and they want me to play. Bring my sax down here. And I said, okay, babe, I will. And so I said, Rosa, can you watch the baby? And she said, yes, I'll watch her. And I said, okay. So here I am, a skinny little gal, very, very skinny. And I put on my coat, and it was cold out. And I put on, the only shoes I had were heels. And I started running down the street, and I could hear this beep, beep, electric streetcar going overhead. And I had to get to the station because they only came every half hour.
Mm.
And so I was running, and I put my hand in my pocket to get my quarter out, and I found the key to the room. I'd locked the baby in the house.
Mm.
And I'm standing there going, oh, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden a fire truck went by. And I'm still crying. And I went, oh no. And so I turned and I thought, I can't let Tom not have his sax, but I've got to find out if the baby's okay. And I ran down and the place was on fire and I ran in. And it still bothers me that I had to let go of the love of my life. And we all burned up. The house burned down. And it was one of those that I learned so much that lifetime about loving people who loved me. Not disliking other people if they didn't love me, but giving love back to those people who loved me. And that was one of the most important past lives. So that last one I'm going to share is very interesting. We were living in Lancaster, and my mom had to go see a doctor in LA. And she said, let's go. I'm going to go see this doctor, and you can go with me. I was 8 years old. I said, okay. And so we were going to the doctor's office, and it was a tall office. And I said, oh, I'm going to get some sinus shots. And she says, you don't have sinus problems. I said, yes, I do. I've been here before. And we passed where that restaurant used to be, and the restaurant, which was a teacup upside down. And she said, Dottie, they tore that down 5 years before you were born. And I said, but I don't remember it. And she said, no, you don't. And I said, yes. And I said, I was a little girl. And I remember we went to catch a plane, not the plane. We went to catch a Christmas parade downtown, and you were with me. And then I stopped and I said, no, you weren't. My mother, you weren't with me. And I had a muff. And she said, a muff? We just came from the desert. And I said, yeah. And I had a muff. And it was white. And I could put my face in it because it was cold. But we were in Los Angeles. And I could remember the taxi cabs going by. It was about 1930, looking back at it. And she said, well, what happened? And I said, well, you said to keep holding my hand. And I couldn't keep holding your hand because I had to put both hands in my muff. And the minute I did, I ran. And I ran into the street and I got hit by a taxi. And I got killed. She said, where did you get that story? I said, Mom, that was me. So there's 3 of my past lives. I have a lot of others, but those 3. Calipa, where I was the meanest SOB ever. Shanty and T-Bone, my saxophone playing husband, lived in downtown Chicago. And third one was the sinus shots that I never got this lifetime. I've never had any problems with my sinus. And each one of those has brought me closer to loving myself, loving everybody, accepting everybody, and seeing how easy it is to love everyone. But it took the three lifetimes there to get to this place. So what I can say to you is every one of you has a past life. And so I want to take this moment for you to close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, and take this breath in through your nose. Bring it down, down, down into your stomach. And then bring it out again and exhale. Let's do 3 of those. Breathe it in. Let it go down into your stomach. And breathe it out, asking for a past life. Just ask yourself, give me a past life. And let's do it again. Breathe in. Keep breathing in deeply, deeply, deeply. And hold it. And think to yourself, I'd like to get in touch with a past life. And now relax. And let it go. And think about what came up for you. What came up in your life? Was it a loving past life? Was it a horrendous past life? But what came up for you that reminds you that you've gone beyond that life into a new life where you love people, you're accepting of people, and you deal with the people around you? And now open your eyes. Did anybody meet anybody? Did anybody get into into a past life? Joyce did. Yes. What was it?
Well, it was the one where the mother in this life was a king and had 2 sons. By the way, that particular son was also a brother of one of my 6 brothers in this life, Booker T. And myself. And in that lifetime, the father took my life because I was in line to be king.
Wow.
So that Booker T could be king. And in this life, Booker T was always held on the highest pedal, and I was not.
Oh my gosh.
And but yet I was tended to be the one that was there to help out with mortgage payments or whatever it was. But the resolution came after my mother's death. Her name is Louise King Brown. I always thought that was kind of interesting. The king part was always in there somewhere. And we healed it because when she left the earth, she went into a black corridor and couldn't get out. And one of the things that held her there was heaven not asked me to forgive her. But I had forgiven her. I wasn't holding on to anything. I had let it all go. And she came to me and I said, King, I have already forgiven you. But she still needed to ask. And once that was done, the black veil that had her in this corridor lifted. And she walked through this amazing door into the light.
Wow.
And I haven't heard from her since.
Oh my gosh. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing. Anybody else have anything they came up with? Joan, did you?
Well, Jeremy has lived with me for 5.5 years, and I never explored past lives with him. But as I was doing this, it came to me that he was my son, an illegitimate son, in my Roman lifetime.
Oh,
where I lived a high life with lots of fun, and he was part of that. And so he was never accepted into the court, and he went into the army, became a soldier, and in this lifetime, he's he's recently gotten into jujitsu and boxing and different kind of physical defense mechanisms. And he chose a job as process server, associated with the courts, and he's working toward private detective, which is a good fit for him. So it was interesting. I did not want him to move in with me. He did not want to move in with me, but he stayed and we worked it out, and we've had a wonderful relationship. And so it was interesting to have that revealed to me after 5.5 years of him living there.
right.
But of course, I've had many past life experiences, and the way I talk and I do past life readings, as does Jeannie. Jeannie Lyons does past life reading experiences also. Mine are different. Hers are not readings, they are experiences. And I've had all kinds of experiences. A lot of the people that I do past life readings for have been gypsies in a previous lifetime with dancing. A lot of them are in music, dancing, and in the Eastern European countries, which is interesting because I love to dance and I love music. And so it seems that I'm drawn to these people. And the way I talk about past lives is it explains the inexplicable, because you don't know why. When I met Nancy, my friend that chose to leave me here, which I'm still mad at her about, but she and I met and became instant good friends, and for over 40 years we were very close good friends. But we had been very close good friends in Portugal and a couple of other places.
Great.
And the first time I went to Hawaii, I got off the airplane and breathed that Hawaiian, moist, sweet smelling air, and I said, "Oh, I am home." And of course, I had a past life in Hawaii where I met Earl, who was one of the Baptist preachers, and I was the Hawaiian girl that lured him into sin.
Yay!
But so much can be explained if you delve into your past lives.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. It's fascinating, and it came to me kind of naturally in trying to understand why I felt the way I did about my oldest daughter. And so it came to me naturally, but what I know is that if you become very relaxed, something will come to you. One time in a massage healing session, I went back to Egypt where I turned into a cat, a panther at night. I went out and murdered my enemies.
Huzzah!
And no wonder, I've always had cats as pets. No wonder.
Okay,
So,
anybody over
Annie's
here?
got her hand up.
Okay, well, let's see, go here.
Oh.
Any of you have anything? Yes, Ruth.
I saw myself being a thread maker.
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't seen that one. Yeah, you know how you take fabric like wool or whatever, and then you spin it down so it turns into actually thread. I made really nice fancy thread for seamstresses to use for nobles and stuff.
Wow.
Cool.
That is cool. But what's also interesting that kept coming up in my mind during your talk is that during an EMDR session, It's a type of therapy. A past life came up. Shocked my poor therapist. And the interesting thing is that, so I have trauma from this life that was making it harder to fall asleep, right? Too much anxiety around bedtime. And so I'm in therapy to try to help solve this problem. And oh, look, there happens to be a past life where I was a type of warrior in a particular culture where it was a mark of honor of not being able to go into a deep sleep, because if you went into a deep sleep, you would get, ambushed. And there was this whole culture where you were constantly testing each other and seeing how swift you were in reacting, and even if you were asleep, it didn't matter. And I was like, oh, so sleep with one eye open. Got it. So I had this past life exacerbating a current life issue. It's like, oh, thanks. So I thought that was interesting, because the whole point, like you said, Dottie, of knowing past lives is to help you live this life better. And then here's as well, it's like two similar problems with sleep, but different sources. Anyway, it was interesting.
Okay. Songbird, did you get into it with anything?
No, but I did through my spiritual practice receive like 2 years of Native American stuff, and so I'm pretty sure and other people have received, I've had past lives as Native American.
Great.
So.
Great. Lauren, how about you?
Just a flicker of, I remember when I did your past lives class, there was one lifetime that flipped through where it was just this green haze, like a mist or smoke over the trees.
Wow.
I haven't got any deeper than that, but that one just came through very briefly.
Right. Okay, and Patty, how about you?
I didn't get anything really specific, but what I did touch into was a lifetime where it was, I think it was more of a spiritual lifetime. It was just filled with love. I could feel my heart chakra really opening, and it was just really nice to see. It was really nice to touch into that.
Great. Corky, how about you?
Well, I was a Pony Express rider, and I don't remember much about it except drinking and riding the ponies and going really fast and evading danger and by being stealthy and kind of like tap the Indians on the back and then
Oh, you're one of those mofos.
Oh yeah. I'm a danger.
Okay, Annie.
Annie, your turn.
Yes. Thank you. What came to me was a flash of a memory from the first time we went to Kauai together. And we went on a bit of a hike where we had gone down to go to the waterfall, the big falls that were there. And I slid. I fell and I slid quite a ways down the hill. And I didn't get hurt. Nothing was wrong, but I started sobbing and I couldn't stop sobbing. So the next morning at breakfast, Hua overheard me talking a little bit, and she came over to tell us a story that in a past life, I was her daughter, and Steve Brandon was my father.
Oh my God.
And that I was a priestess in a royal family. So when I was born, they wanted to destroy me because girls weren't supposed to be born into royal families, only boys. So they threw me to the ground to kill me, and I landed on Stephen's feet. And he kept me alive, and he took me to my nurse, who raised me. And when I was old enough, and there was a huge drought on the island, and people were dying, I went to my father and I said I wanted to sacrifice myself to save the people. So he took me and wrapped me in his robes, and he took me to the edge of that waterfall and threw me over the edge. And I just think it's very interesting that I found out about Steve today because of that. And I could feel him around me. And I know that, he remembers this story as well. And it was very interesting. But, just quickly to bring a little humor, my brother and I had a very interesting relationship. We were kind of like this a lot. And one time he bought me some earrings while we were at a San Jose Books. And they said, oh, the cost is 1780 something. And he said, oh, I must have been burning witches in those days. And I said, yeah, and I was probably one of the witches. And he said, well, this speaks volumes about our relationship today. But I just want to say God bless Steve. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Yes, Lynn?
Yeah, I was just, I know you're close to the end. I had a wonderful teacher, Jessica Madigan, who knew Edgar Casey's work and did Akashic readings. And she said to me that I could discover my own past lives by, even if it took a year, kind of praying to be guided to ones that would help me understand my purpose, my current problems, and a number of lifetimes unfolded, including one in a court of James the First, who translated the Bible, where I was married off by scheming uncle to at 13 for political advantage, and I tried to get the first divorce in England, but I was there. There was so much opposition that my friend Patty, who at the time, and we sent a potion to the fellow who was opposing it. Coincidentally, there was a lot of food poisoning going on. In fact, my daughter Megan's father would have been the king of England, but he died at 16 of food poisoning. So this fellow that we sent the potion to died of food poisoning. Therefore, I was sent to the Tower, where I resided most of the rest of my life. But James pardoned me, and he came around our church as a fellow named Norman. So all of these friends and foes from past lives, our own mistakes and our own positives also come back to us. My late husband Joe did past life regressions, and I learned how to do Edgar Casey oriented past life readings from that. I was also a nun. I was also the daughter of a socialist. To be honest, it was Karl Marx's youngest daughter. I remember him like a Bernie Sanders character. None of these people did I know about until dreams and inner guidance led me to the coincidences. But it has been really a guide point to explain a lot of the karmic things in my life. Unfortunately, as Marx's daughter, I did a lot of good things for women's rights and all kinds of stuff. But when he died, it was a sad time. This fellow I had lived with from the socialist group, not with benefit of marriage, later ran off one night to marry a local actress. And he left some poison on the counter for a rabid dog. I was upset. I drank it, and you couldn't call 911. When you commit suicide, you come back sometimes where those that you need are they pass or they're not around to teach you that it's better to stay around than to go out. So that's a summary of the high points. Well, the high points were being a healing nun who was a painter. Anyway, we all have these stories, and it's helped me a lot to continue through this lifetime from that perspective. Vanessa, my special daughter, was my mother in the last life. And I asked her recently, I said, she's like a child, but I said, if we have another life, do you want to be the mother or the daughter? And she said, the mother. And then she talks like a child, and I said, who would I be? And she said, the baby. The last life I had was an actress, briefly, who died in 1937 in Hollywood, and everyone called me the baby. So it comes full circle. And thank you for this talk, Dottie, that really gave examples from your life. We learned so much from that.
Thank you. And I want to apologize for swearing.
Well, that was the
context was great, though.
That came out of those past lives. I'll blame them. Thank you all very much for joining us today. And please get in touch with a past life. And right now, we're going to pass the basket.
Yay.
And so you can keep us here. And that we appreciate you. And we're going to be here next week. And what are we talking about next week?
Be the light.
Be the light.
Be the
Yes.
light. Be the
So
light.
please join us for next week. And if you have any friends that you want to have join us, tell them to get online. We'd love to meet new people. Thank you again so much for being here. Bye now.
Okay, wait, we're
Thank you.
Wait a minute, we're gonna
It
bless,
was,
Oh, we're gonna bless the
gonna,
money.
we're gonna
We-
bless the money
we give thanks
donation.
for the contributions that we receive each month, each week, because this makes our community a possibility and sustainability. And we give thanks for these blessings and for these donations that come in through the mail, through Zelle, through PayPal, and all the different ways that they come to Dottie and Corky. And as we go forward in love and light, blessings each day, we remember also that regular giving of anything creates regular receiving. So regular giving of money creates income. Regular giving of love creates love for you and for the universe. And with that idea, have a good week. We bless
Yay.
you all.
Thank you so
Awesome,
much.
thank
We'll
you
see you
so
next
much.
week.
So it is.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye, bye-bye, everybody.
thank you. It was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Hope to see you again soon.
I will be back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.